So today I'm going to illustrate how to use Final Cut Pro 10 to edit a video project. So Final Cut Pro 10 was released in 2011, and when it was panned by critics because they believed it was a big alteration from Apple's strong tradition of professional editing software. But subsequent updates have kind of rectified that reputation. Now, just for a quick definition of what video editing is, video editing can be described as the purposeful alteration of video and audio clips. And a broader definition of video editing can also encompass color correction techniques as well. But I usually don't use that feature of the program because that's very intense editing. I just mostly use the basic features. So I took a screen capture of the editing one of my programs in Final Cut. So now the very beginning of this video just shows you how to create a project, but the problem was that was like a separate window, so it didn't record that. But you just go to File and then New, and then I usually go to Event because when it prompts you to create an event, it asks you if you want to create a corresponding project. And that's important because you can have your event where you import all of your media, whether that's video or pictures. So, like I said, you just drag from the event onto what's called the timeline. And this is just some B-roll footage that I was using to try to illustrate this. And now there's multiple different titles that you can use, different styles of titles that kind of help you create a personalized feel to your project. I usually just use a basic title, but there's many titles that you can use. And here I'm just illustrating that the title can be on screen while the video is playing. So instead of having just a blank title, you can have it while the footage is rolling. So that can be useful. You can also, I think I'm changing the duration of the title slide. So I think the default duration is 5 seconds, but if you have a title slide that has a lot of text, you might want to make it 10, 15 seconds. I guess it just depends on the amount of stuff that's on screen. And then there's different font styles that you can choose from and different font sizes. It's pretty straightforward. Oh, and then also you can free transform the text so you can move it on the screen. And this is useful if you want to create like a split screen effect. Say you have the text on either the left or the right side of the title slide, and you can have your footage playing at the same time. So instead of the text being over the footage, which may be hard to see, you can have like the footage on one side and the text on the other. And then you can also, and this is just editing the video clip, you can drag it from the end to either extend the clip or to take out any unwanted footage. And then you can also use the blade tool. I don't know if you can see it real well, but it kind of looks like a razor. You can use the blade tool to cut a video clip into separate clips, so you can manipulate those separate clips easier because it can be hard sometimes to try to manage one huge video clip. And then also you can rename the clips too. So say, I know this clip's name was like clip number 7, so I just went back and renamed the clips for easier identification. You can detach the audio of the clip if you want to try to edit the audio. That's really helpful if the audio is too quiet or if it's too loud. You can adjust the waveforms. And then you can also just completely disable a video clip. You can disable it or you can just delete it outright. That's another feature. Didn't expect to move this fast. You can also fade in or fade out the audio, which is kind of a unique feature if you're looking for a dramatic effect. You can also use the chroma keys to try to edit like a fade to black, or if you want to gradually fade the footage in, you can also use that for a dramatic effect. And here I'm just illustrating how you can, in addition to free transforming the text, you can also free transform the audio. And that's where you can get kind of that split screen effect. So there's also transitions that you can add in between video clips, and usually I just use a traditional cross dissolve, but there's many different transitions that you can use to, again, try to create a personalized effect to your video project. There's like a cube animation. There's all kinds of different animations that you can use. And then you can also change the duration of those transitions as well. It's generally a good idea if your transitions don't last too long, because you don't want that impeding the quality of the video clip. So you probably make it like half a second, just so it's not too distracting. There's also different effects that you can apply to the video, which is kind of neat. If you want to make the video look like it's vintage footage, there's a technique that you can apply for that. I think one of the techniques on here is kind of like a whitewash effect. You can also import just you can import music from your iTunes library, or just from the desktop or wherever. You can also import still photos, so you can free transform those in the project. And here's just some other, well, these are actually themes. So if you have like a thematic thing going on with your video, so your video is about like nature or something, and you want kind of like a nature theme, there might be like a flower that you can use, or something to that effect. So, I think that's pretty much it. Didn't expect there to be so much downtime, but so I guess the impact of using Final Cut Pro, there's a professional impact, which is probably the biggest impact. If you look at Hollywood movies, 2010's The Social Network actually won an Academy Award for Best Editing, and that was used with Final Cut, albeit it was an older version of Final Cut, but nevertheless it was the same program. And some other movies, 2007's No Country for Old Men, that was actually nominated for an Academy Award for Best Editing. And I believe 2003's Cold Mountain, that was also nominated for the same award. Now, for kind of the private impact of Final Cut Pro, just for non-professional video people, it kind of provides you a affordable option. So I know some video editing programs, such as Adobe, they can cost as much as $800. So if you're working on a tight budget, then something like Final Cut Pro, that's only $300, that would offer you basically the same features for less money. So that's it.